What's up, everybody? Today we are breaking down a simply designed football trading card. This is a recruiting graphic that I made for App State. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So I started out with this sick cutout. It is obviously anonymous looking because he has a visor over his face, so they would know who it is, but it's a good one to use for recruiting graphics because you can't see his face, you don't know his name, whatever. So that's a good thing to start out with. Then I found some different backgrounds to start messing around with, and this is kind of like my design process a lot of the time. You find some cool photos, find some good cutouts, some great poses, high detail shots to work with, and then you just bring it into Photoshop and start kind of messing around with it. This is kind of like my method of madness. I a lot of times don't have a super strategic workflow, but that's just how I do things. So maybe I'm weird or bad or wrong or whatever, but so what I like to do is just mess around with the blending modes of all the different textures and backgrounds that I have, and that's kind of how I came up with the background I currently have. So it's literally just a couple textures with different blending modes. And then I just matched him to it by putting these inner shadows on him. As you can see, they're color dodge layers and screen layers, things like that, of orange and yellow and red. And then he looks like he's kind of in the scene. He looks like he fits in at that point. So that's really what the goal is in a lot of graphics, and a lot of you guys who are DMing me and asking me what you can work on, that's the main thing, is making the different pieces that you pull into your Photoshop file look like they belong together. So yeah, and then here I'm just kind of messing with the background to see if I want to blur it to make it look a little more interesting, and then I'm just messing around with some glow, trying to see if I want to add in some yellow glow to make it pop a little more, a little orange glow, and then I'm doing a little bit of lighting and shading, and then we're going to add in his name. And I decided to go with a cursive font at first. I think I'd later change that because I was just going to make it look like his signature, but then I decided against that because I had done that before, and sometimes it's cool, and here it works, but I think I just wanted to go with a different look in the end. So what I did there was just the apply image thing to kind of make it pop a little more. Then I decided, okay, I want it to be a little more interesting, so I'm going to actually turn it into a trading card and put it inside of a case. So here I'm just putting a sort of bevel around it to give it that 3D look, and it actually looks like a card, and then we just kind of transform it to make it look like it's in the space that it's in. And then here we have the card case. So just found it online, cut it out, and then I stuck the card in there and just kind of fit the casing to it because I didn't want to stretch the card. So it's literally just sitting on top of it, but that's how it looks when it's actually in the case. And then I wanted to find a cool background to put it on, and basically I just found this kind of black grungy texture to put behind it. And then I went back in and I was like, okay, here's something that'll make it interesting. I'll put the little 1 of 1 marking on it. So I put that down at the bottom and put a little bevel on that to make it look like it's kind of engraved into the card, kind of how they do it, I think. And I think that looks pretty good with an interesting font. And then I went and added in his name, or I guess the spot for the names up top. and made it yellow to make it fit in with the rest of the graphic. I like that. Very simple. Decided to not do the cursive signature font, but to do that instead. Then I changed his number to number 1 instead of number 2 to make it even more generic, because number 1's like kind of the most basic number you can have. Number 2 is like, I don't know, seems a little more specific, I guess. So here I'm adding another layer, and I loved how some of those looks happened through there when I was changing the blending mode. So I was like, okay, I like how this looks, and I don't really want to mess with that, but I still want to use that like gold pop look that just flashed on the screen a minute ago. So I was like, okay, how can I use both of those in the same graphic, which is often what happens. You have a few different things that kind of come to fruition as you're making the graphic and exploring. And so we're going to get to how I use that in a minute. So yeah, basically we just put the card in the thing, put his name over top, because we want that text to be editable. So like I would be sending this whole file to app for them to be able to go in and use it, change the name if they needed to, which they will for each different player. So then this background look is kind of the look that I was talking about that looked really cool to me, and I wanted to use that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make the card pack that texture, or I'm gonna give it that look and put that in the background because that'll look sick. And so this is the card pack, just a pack I found online, and all we had to do there is cut it out, and then we just go in and what's it called, like generative fill or whatever, the the logo and wording and stuff off of it. So then it's just a generic pack, and then we can edit it the way we want to, because I don't want all that other stuff on there. So I just kind of kept messing with that until it looked right, and then I put the A on there, and then I got that texture and put that bad boy onto the pack, and just found the right blending mode. Again, a lot of it is like kind of just scrolling through looking for which blending mode looks the best, and that right there looks awesome to me. I mean, you can't tell me that doesn't look sick for like a packaging concept. It just looks so good to me. Like it pops so much, and it's like sick. So like I would buy that if I saw it in the store. And so I put that behind, which is kind of sad because it's such a cool package that we had to put in the background. But I put that behind, and then put his card in the case over top, and then I had the idea to put other little cards behind it to kind of make it look like they all came out of the same pack, but this is like the special card that came out of the pack, because when you buy packs, usually like 1 or 2 of like the whatever 8 to 10 cards or however many are in there are like, special, have like 101 or signature or whatever. So that's what I wanted to do. So around that whole group of the card, I just added like a drop shadow to make it look legit, and then I just put those cards behind it and hid the middle player, so it looks like they're all the same themed card, but there might be a different like athlete on each of them, but you just don't know that. So it's like just looks like a pack of cards that you would buy that's like themed that way. And then I wanted this one to like stand out with its look too, so I think I changed the looks of the other cards, maybe made them black and white or something, and I thought about making them yellow like the packaging. So I just did that. I made them black and yellow and didn't put any like red and orange like pop on them. And then I put that same kind of like faded orangey red pop in the background with the texture. I may put this on the Patreon at some point. Let me know like how you feel about this. If you think it's too simple or doesn't look good as a trading card. Let me know if you thought this was like a good concept, and if you learned something from this in the comments, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.